Hello and welcome to the stream. So hopefully this hasn't cut off like I did. I will say this every time now, and I think it did cut me off last time. And just want to check. Firstly, I can see the mic levels are coming up on my screen, and I just want to check, is the audio working fine? So just let me know. And it looks like we are going to try to run Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but it doesn't look good. I mean, the fact is that we already have one member of the chat, Patrick Darcy, already said, I just tried FF7 Rebirth in a number of configurations and it didn't work. Well, let's try to brainstorm this live. Okay, so I haven't tried to run it yet. We are downloading the game at the moment. I've just limited my speed to 200 megabit so that I can actually get the stream up and running. But yeah, we're going to try. Let's do it live. Let's try to figure out what the problem is. We'll try every configuration I can possibly think of. So at the moment, we are going to run this through crossover preview. We're going to try crossover. We've got crossover 24.06 as well we can experiment with. We also have the two different versions of Game Porting Toolkit that we can experiment with as well. We've got 2.0 Beta 3, which is what this is currently using at the moment. And we've also got the full release of 2.0, which came out last week. So we can test out those things today. So we're going to try that out and see how this is gonna go. So we'll try to run this after this finishes downloading. We've got like another minute left on here, and then yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. So guys, tell me, how have you been? Has anyone been playing many good games lately? What have you been playing on the Mac, etc., etc.? I've been quite busy just trying to get videos out. I'm working on a list of multiplayer games on the Mac at the moment, so quite excited about that. But it's a long slog, you know. It's a long slog trying to get all of these different games, all the footage in one place. But yeah, it's on my list of to-dos. And yeah, today, if we don't manage to get this particular game working, then I've got a list of other ones that I want to experiment with as well. So if you've got any requests, then I'll try that too. I came across this really interesting post on the Mac Gaming subreddit, which I'll load up now, about DCS World. So I'll give that a go. I've been requested to do DCS World a lot of different times, so I'll definitely try that. But yeah, I'm going to try the different configurations of this as much as I can. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to do the obvious thing, which is like try to run this through D3D Metal, and then see how this goes. So Darcy's already said this ain't working. I wonder what issues that we're going to face because, for example, there are some Steam Deck. Apparently, this is meant to be Steam Deck certified, Steam Deck verified, right? This is Steam Deck verified, right? Yeah, so we're running DirectX. Let's see, it's FF7 Rebirth. Is this Steam Deck certified? So it could be that this particular game is meant to be playable on Steam Deck. And of course, the Steam Deck uses Proton. It uses Wine. Okay, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign if nothing pops up. Let me just close some more stuff here. Okay, good. Can I revisit the crossover versus native Mac releases you made a year ago? Not much I can really say about that, to be honest, because there aren't that many Mac games which are now native, which don't work. Let me just see this running. I mean, were there any specific games that are now native to Mac, which also run through crossover? It'd be interesting to see the progress made with Wine 10 and crossover 25. I definitely want to show that as soon as, you know, Wine 10 becomes available to us. Right now, it's not available. I think once crossover 25 comes out, that's going to be something that happens. Something that I'll definitely look at. Okay, FF7 Rebirth has encountered a problem. Okay, let's check. Let's do some like live. Let's look at the PC Gaming Wiki list. Okay, so let's look at the graphics APIs. So we're on DirectX 12. Is there a DirectX 11 option? because that helped with the remake quite a lot. I mean, is there an option here? Because this is using the same engine. So this is this of course is Unreal Engine 4, I believe. Just check here. Yeah, it's Unreal Engine 4. So even though it's a new game, it's running on the old engine. I wonder if they've ported in the same graphics API. Okay, wine debug file listed here. Yeah, Control would be good to try out next month to compare native to crossover. Oh yeah, I suppose there's a lot of games which are coming out soon which work through crossover. Pal World, Cyberpunk 2077, Control. What else? What else is on the list of games coming out soon? There's let me see the schedule. Dead Island 2, right? That's going to come out soon. RoboCop. Those both run on crossover as well. And let me see. Dredge already came out. Path of Exile 2, that's going to get a Mac release at some point. And then the Crimson Desert, I don't know. Path of Exile 2, of course, it runs through crossover. Okay, so let's try. So I'm not a programmer. I'm not a graphics hacker. I just look at the tools and try out what I can here. Okay, so DX11 flag ain't working. Okay, so that's that. Of course, we could always try this without D3D metal. So we could always try one D3D, of course, because that's an option with Red Dead Redemption 2. And yeah, we're getting a wine error message. Yeah, I can't read this. It's too big. Small. So illegal instruction in 64-bit code. So we have this error message here. I wonder what this is. Wine 10. Oh, I'm actually using Wine 10 in this version of crossover. I didn't realize. Okay, let's experiment with this a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my Steam folder out of the bottle. So I did this in the default location, which I shouldn't really be doing. Let's add it to another location. Let's put this let's take this out, and then I'll try it in a different version of crossover. So let's just put it in my documents. Let's put this as our Steam Windows, which is what I normally do. Just open up a library here, and then I just want to move this to my Y drive. Okay, so I'll move this to my Y drive. Wow, this game was huge, 150 gigabytes. Not cool, man. Okay, so guys, any kind of like bright ideas? What should we do with this? Hey man, you give me a lot of hope for Mac gaming. That's really cool. Disappointed that this doesn't work out of the box. Sorry, Andrew, I have a question for crossover for playing multiplayer game out of Steam. I play a game Brotato. I use the Steam multiplayer mode to play with my friend, but can I add my friend? I don't know if Brotato works on crossover. Just find it. Brotato. On Mac? Is this like a... Yeah, it doesn't have a Windows version. I've never seen anyone play this on Mac before. Brotato. This is what I always do. Can you... If no one's made a video of it, then it's kind of unlikely that it does work. This guy is kind of a fraud. It's always... But a lot of Godot games will work on crossover, or they might work on Parallels. This guy's running it through Parallels, but he doesn't actually run it. It's really annoying. This guy's kind of spamming the internet with fake news. Okay. Is this actually moving, or is it... Yeah, maybe try to add a friend outside of Steam. I don't know. Try running it through Parallels. That might be an option. Okay, let's see. So what I'll do is I will go into my user folder. Let me just check this is actually moving, because what I want to do is move the game outside of my Steam bottle. Okay, yeah, it's being moved. 110 gigs. Okay, it's happening. Sometimes you don't really know if something's moving or not. Sometimes, like the way that the UI elements are rendered on screen, especially the Windows ones, don't necessarily work that well. Okay, so actually, the more I tried gaming on Mac, the more I hate Mac gaming. Already tried setting it up again and again. Yes. When you're trying to run non-native Mac games on the Mac, it is not for the faint-hearted. You need to have some patience. You need to be thinking like, I need to, you know, it's your only device able to play these games, and you want to be able to, you know, you need to be in the. Sometimes I think of myself in this like of this scenario. I'm thinking like, oh, well, if the Mac is my only device, right, and so I'm desperately trying to figure this out, which is the position of like the genuine position of some people, is that this is all they've got. In which case, I feel kind of sad for you. Okay, so let's come out of crossover preview. Okay, so it looks like a wine issue. Okay, so the problem that I'm getting is like a wine problem. Okay, let's try with a regular crossover. So we've got crossover. Technically, these are the same bottles that I used in crossover preview. I don't think it's worth making again. So this is like 24.0.6. Let's load up Steam again. Okay, so we have different interface elements for this. We want D3D Metal. Let's turn on MSync, see if that helps. It really helps, but yeah. I think crossover has some problem that makes the Steam friend add game have issue. I think that's true because the entire Steam launcher is constantly being updated, and it definitely changes based on. Oh, I got a lot of memberships. Thank you, David, for gifting 10 memberships. So lucky people, you're getting access to some random members only posts, which I don't put a huge amount of effort into, but it exists. Thank you very much, David. It's really appreciated. So yeah, basically we're gonna try and run this using this, and let's see one configuration. Thank you very much, David. Okay. Yeah, so this is a different version of wine. So this is wine 9.0. So, you know, this is a different kind of scenario. So potentially there's an out. Who knows? Who knows whether this is actually going to work? And if any of you guys got like any bright ideas, right, then I'm all ears. Okay, I'm all ears, trying to figure out whether this is going to be working better on the Mac or not. Trying to think what else we could try. So we've got crossover preview, we've got crossover 24.0.6, which is the latest at the time of recording. I wonder if Codeweavers will actually try to run this. There's no way this will work with DXMT or DXVK. That's because DXMT and DXVK, both open source methods of running DirectX 11 games, and this is DirectX 12. So we have a similar error message, but not identical. So we couldn't get the first exception for process of the game. No backtrace available. So this is a different error message from the Wine 10.0 like release candidate. So I wonder what this is. Hard to know without actually knowing, you know. Okay, so if we try as well without the YD3D, I think we'll get the same error message. Okay, I'm suspecting it's going to be the same thing. Yeah, show details. Yeah, same error. One thing this all teaches us, gaming could be a proper thing on Mac if Apple played nice with others. If Apple cared to work with Square Enix, maybe even Sony on this, then this could have had more potential. Okay. So yeah, just to prove a point, we're going to try and run this with DXVK. So when you flick these switches, right, what's actually happening is that DirectX 11 APIs are swapped inside the Windows system folder, System32. So you can do this while on the fly. But I think at this stage, we don't have an ability to do this right now. Okay, because beyond trying to launch the game and beyond like somebody else figuring this out, then I'm kind of like, the kind of leaves me out of ideas. I mean, one thing I could do is upgrade to Game Porting Toolkit 2.0 instead of the 2.0 Beta 3, which I don't think is going to work. So not particularly optimistic about that idea. If any of you guys have got any thoughts. So the thing is, right, that a DirectX 12 game does work through the default graphics option. So that's like 1D3D. So that might actually work through this, but I'm getting the same, well, I'm getting a similar error message. Okay, so this is like, well, they're still in a data gathering phase at the moment. So we'll press play, and then instead of it saying we have a specific error message here, illegal instruction in 64-bit code. So this is like a wine error. I wonder if like code weavers will, you know, because they have like not unlimited resources, but there's like, you know, they can focus their laser beam of attention at certain games, and they're definitely trying to do that with Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay. The program is trying to use machine code that your CPU doesn't understand. Okay. Do you think that could be like an AVX issue? I guess YouTube ate my money. I gifted another 5, but no one got them. Lol. Well, thank you very much, David. I don't see anyone getting extra memberships, but I'm really grateful for that. Thank you very much for all those memberships. And I hope you enjoy some of the members only posts that you've just reminded me that I need to make. Okay. I'm integrating the Poisson Recon code here. Okay, maybe I should use like the wine as a search term, because that's going to help. Unhandled exception, legal instructions, 64-bit code. This kind of showing up how much of a noob I am, because at the end of the day, I don't feel like a fraud necessarily, but a lot of what I do is basically taking the very clever ideas that other people have and then try to put them together into something else. So, you know, the last live stream I did for God of War Ragnarok, it was something that someone else discovered, really. And so there's not much I can really do about that right now, unless somebody much cleverer than me manages to figure this out. So maybe for the next day or two, I'll be furiously refreshing and seeing if anyone figures out this particular issue. Put the request into ChatGPT. Yeah. Don't think ChatGPT is going to know what to do in this scenario, I'm afraid. Okay, let's see. Stack dump. Okay, so unless any of you guys have got any bright ideas, let me just check as well. Does FF7 does FF7 Rebirth use AVX? Guess there's no information. So the original PC game doesn't require AVX, but this one, I don't know really. Let me just check there. Yeah, I think you're heavily overestimating what is possible when it comes to AVX, when it comes to ChatGPT. Okay, so there's no information about the requirements of this particular game, the CPU requirements. All we know is that it requires DirectX 12, which technically D3D Metal should be able to handle, or one D3D should be able to handle this. So it's a shame we don't have that DirectX 11 mode, because basically the first Final Fantasy game, the first Final Fantasy 7 remake did have this option. So I wonder. It does have DLSS. So any updates regarding Asahi Linux? I think Asahi Linux has been making slow and steady progress, especially with the improvements to the MuVM, the micro virtual machine system. Haven't really tested it out myself at the moment. I'd really like to see some exclusive games which don't work on Mac OS, like being played through Proton, through Asahi Linux. If there's any that come out, then let me know. Yeah, an Unreal Engine 4 game should be working. ChatGPT always has an answer. Maybe it won't solve the issue, but it can make progression. ChatGPT, right, can only do things which can only advise. It can't really produce answers out of nowhere, right? So how do I make FF7 Rebirth work? This is a real low point. Oh my God. Searching the web. The last game worked, so we made the assumption that it would work. Okay, I guess what would be good. That is accurate, right? Well, let's paste the error message in here. I tried running the game and got this one error. This error message. What does it mean? Too long, eh? Well, can't I put this into a document and then save as, let's say? So there's a backtrace there inside my user folder. I've never done this before. I wonder if this has any potential for working at all. Can I do that? Does that work? It's not explicitly saying we have an AVX issue. Ensure your Mac has a processor that supports the required instruction set. No can do. M-series Macs don't have these built in, but we can emulate them through Rosetta 2, I suppose. It requires the correct kind of advertisement is what they call it, the AVX advertising, to make sure that the system knows that you can handle AVX. Update crossover, yes we do. Enable debugging. Using an alternate wine build. Check compatibility. Patch or workaround. Some users create patches to bypass support. Okay, I'm not sure we're going to get any patches for a game that has only just been released. Okay, let's have a look. Thanks, David, for the membership. Wasn't watching this live, but came up with the notifications. Thank you. Try Perplexity. Is that another GPT model? Hey, Andrew, may I ask you something? Is it possible for me to use GPT 2.0 with an older version of Crossover for 2022 by replacing the file? None of the Crossover 22 apps made use of GPT-K2, I don't think, unless you use an older version of CX Patcher. I guess you could try if it. When did we get Game Porting Toolkit 1? It was like the end. Do you think you could K6 if you wanted to use an older version of Crossover? But you know what? Crossover is on offer. It's 30% off right now. You should just buy the latest version, and then patch it in the normal way, just like everyone else. Tell ChatGPT if they can code patches for you. Well, that would be the ideal thing. It's like you throw in a binary, right? And then you tell them like hex edit this binary, check if this game requires any kind of patching. Is there a way to play Last of Us on Apple Silicon Macs? Not yet. I do expect it to happen sometime in the future, but it ain't happening anytime soon. Oh, do you mean the results of it works on my M3 Pro through Discord? Okay, yeah, sure. But just honestly, just use the latest version. It's just, if you don't know what you're doing, then it'll just be easier. How do you think the base M4 is going to run Palworld? I think it'll run very well once it comes out. Just see this error. Okay, so if we can't get this to work, we might try other stuff. In the meantime, I'm just going to have one last look. Run with options and add AVX. Okay, that's a good idea. Thanks, you Pro Burst Car. That's a very good idea. So this is crossover preview. If we run with options, we can enable the environmental variable, advertise AVX capabilities. Should have done that first. Why not use Game Porting Toolkit 2 instead of Crossover? I could use Game Porting Toolkit 2, but the graphical user interface of Crossover and the fact that we have an updated Wine 10 with Crossover Preview is going to be way superior to Game Porting Toolkit 2, which is still limited to what we call Whiskey Wine or Wine 7.7, which still sucks. It won't even let you. It won't even let you like run any game in mirrored HDMI, which is what I use to stream. So that's why it's annoying. Okay, so we've run this with AVX advertised. Illegal instructions. So it's trying to run something. So what is it running on the Steam Deck that it can't run? Do you think there's like an exception with Proton? For do some basic. So K6, I have a modification for 2022, which is broken at newer versions. I use a different color scheme. Are you saying that you use a different color scheme for crossover? Because that would be quite interesting. There is a person who has this issue with the new WWE game, and the comment said that use 2.0 beta 3 of preview, but you're probably on that version. Yes, I haven't modified this version of game porting toolkit. So on the Steam Deck, we can run this game at 720p. Let's see what people are doing on the Steam Deck side, because Yeah, we've got this new install screen, which was very cool today. I just noticed that today when I was doing the download, there's this kind of two bars, because it's kind of confusing when you on Steam you have the ability to look at your file download and your install, and those are two different things. Because you might have really good speeds, but if you're downloading to like a micro SD card, it's going to be really slow. So nothing about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth yet. I think we're still early. I wonder what's the nearest. Oh, I've got one here. Andrew, any information news on Asahi on the M3? No news yet on M3 compatibility. And the M4's been out for like what, 3 months now? Less than 3 months. And yeah, you worry about Asahi Linux because basically the M3's been out for a while. Are they gonna miss? They're gonna miss it. Are we gonna wait for M5 compatibility before we do anything else? Other than this game, I have questions. Can I run Asahi or Steam OS on Parallels? You can't run those on Parallels yet. I mean, technically, you might be able to run Steam OS, the 64-bit x86 version, but it's going to be super slow. I don't think you'll get much. I don't think you'll get much compatibility on that, I'm afraid. But I wonder if like something like Bazite could work. Bazite on Parallels? Yeah, I really doubt this could do much. So like at the moment, there's this you can on Parallels, right? The Parallels 20.2, the new version's got a new x86 64-bit operating system compatibility, but apparently it's extremely slow. So basically, if you wanted to run the game, then you'd be they say like 2 to 7 minute boot up for Windows 10, x86 Windows 10, which is like if you think about it, what it should be like 20 seconds. So we're like more than 10 times difference in speed. So yeah, you definitely don't want to be using that, but I'll probably experiment with that at some point. Yeah, it's a shame this doesn't just work out of the box, because that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Okay, let's. I wonder what this error message means. Can someone more intelligent than me figure this out? Because okay, I give this like 1 more minute, and then I'm going to move on to some other games. So there's some new stuff that I did want to test out today, and while I'm testing this out, we can also do some experimentation. If anyone figures out Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we'll like circle back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If someone can like figure out this game in the next 2 hours whilst I'm streaming, then I'll circle back to this. But until then, I want to try something different. So I think the next thing I'll try is DCS World, because this has been a massive request for me for like ages. So if you look at the Mac Gaming subreddit, someone's posted up instructions on how to get DCS World working. So I guess what we should do is like try this out. So I haven't modified anything. So I'll give this a go in a minute. And also I'll also try and test out the Battle.net desktop app. I'll do that a bit later. And then there's a couple more games I want to try. I might do Fortnite, sideload Fortnite maybe, or I might run the Eternal Strands demo. I might try that, and maybe a couple more things. K6, isn't VMware Fusion becoming a bigger Parallels competitor by the day? The unbelievable price of free. Basically, I think that VMware Fusion is basically abandonware. So it's like complete opposite of what you're saying. Basically, it's because VMware got bought out by Broadcom, and Broadcom basically shuttered down this kind of consumer-facing side of their virtual machine tools. Then it's basically dead, right? I know that it works at the moment, but yeah, there's not much you can do about it. They clearly don't care about the product. It's almost impossible to download, even though it's free, and it's not going to be as good as Parallels. So at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be looking at. Okay, so let's try running DCS World. Okay, thank you very much. I can't pronounce your name. Thatch Nguyen Ngo. It's Vietnamese. Thank you very much for the super chat. I think Apple is not very determined, especially when it comes to gaming. Their strategy doesn't really make much sense. They've got all this money and ability to like do stuff, but they can't do. They are not making logical sense for what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to DCS and I'm going to download the game. So how do we download this? It's the eShop. Free to play. It says free to play, so free trial. How do we download DCS World? Okay, DCS World 2.9. Okay, so DCS World is there. So I downloaded DCS World. And then what I'm going to do is to download the kitchen sink. So I've never actually used the kitchen sink, so I was reading about this. Is there a DCS World? Oh. Let's try this cross tie. Oh, apparently it runs well. Okay, let's try this cross tie. I know it's saying Windows 7 bottle, but let's try Windows 10. Yeah. So yeah, basically, Apple should be doing a lot more to promote gaming. They seem to be going in like the wrong direction. I don't know if you guys have seen the Resident Evil 2 news. Resident Evil 2 sales iOS, right? So this has been making the rounds about how their native game, Resident Evil 2 remake, has not crossed 10,000 sales. So so it was on sale for $10 between release and the 8th of January, I think. And I'm not really surprised if people didn't buy this game. So firstly, the game is from 2019. So it's like 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old already. It is not ideal to play on a little phone. And the Mac side, I think, is there's not many people buying it. So like, let's say you love Resident Evil games, right? You probably played it like 3 or 4 years ago. And even if you didn't, you could actually play it through crossover with a CX patched version of the game. So yeah, I'm not surprised about that because Apple are like diverting so many like resources into getting all of these basically single player adventure games and horror games working on their phones and Macs, trying to fulfill the dream of Apple Silicon. The idea is that you have all of these compatible devices because they all run the same ARM64 hardware with powerful GPU chips inside them. And you've got Apple TV, iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Vision Pro, all of these 5 premium devices that loads of people have at least two of them at once. People got an iPhone and iPad, and they've got a Mac as well, and then they bought into the ecosystem. And the idea is that you buy one game and then you have it on all. But this game is just not good on the phone, and it's too old as well. I mean, the best Resident Evil game that came out probably was like Resident Evil 4. I don't imagine it sold well because even though it's like it came out only like 7 or 8 months after the main console release of Resident Evil 4, it's still too old, right? And they're selling it for way too much money, $40 on iOS, which also includes the Mac version as well. But it should include the Apple TV version. It should be on Apple Vision Pro. Apple have paid and marketed these games. It should be on so much more. It should be on Apple Arcade. Like, Apple Arcade is such a joke for gaming. It's just a real shame. Yeah, some games are exclusive in the App Store. They should be released on Steam as well. They should be on both. So you buy one and you get both. Is crossover preview only available to lifetime subscriptions? No, you can buy it. You can get crossover plus if you have. So you can get crossover preview if you are licensed in any way. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. I need to sometimes there's here we are, a little thing you got to press. Why don't they make GPT-2 open source yet? They definitely should. They definitely should, and they should just bundle it with the games so that you can just, so people can sell a game with Game Porting Toolkit 2 bundled in it. Just kind of like how a lot of games are Wine bundles at the end of the day. And they can do that because Wine is open source, and they should really do that the same thing with D3D Metal. It should be the same thing. Okay, I'll skip here. Okay, within DCS World, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the kitchen sink. So kitchen sink. Okay, I'll put this within the bottle. I'll install this within the bottle that I just created. Yeah. Let's try this out. Apple probably have done nearly 50 AAA games. It's just that they're not doing a very good job of choosing the right games. I mean, it'd be much. I think at the end of the day, it will be much better for Mac gaming if they ported the most popular live service games. Like they really invested some money into getting certain games like, and I mean live service games like games which people play for long periods of time. Trying to install the parser. Okay, skip this step, it's not working. Some of this Microsoft stuff is not downloading. It's weird. Oh god, well, press cancel by accident. Oh, it is working now. Oh, it is working now. Okay, that's weird. So the kitchen sink is trying to install every single dependency possible. Every single version of Microsoft C++ redistributable. Let me just check. Kai6, what are your thoughts on Steam VR? It works, but how? So there's a really good guy called King Volpez who's just doing some work on getting VR games working through Parallels. Not something that appeals to me that much, to be honest. To me, I'd rather just get a Quest 3 and then run the games natively on the headset without having to connect up to anything. As I live and breathe, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Intergrade on my M1 Max. This is so cool. The Intergrade, the remake, the first game, is great. It's been running well on Mac even before Game Porting Toolkit. We had it working through DXVK through DirectX 11 mode. Worked pretty well. So yeah, it's a shame that this next one doesn't work. With M4 Max and M32 graphics cores, games worth it compared to the Pro with 20 cores? Basically, yes. I mean, 32 cores is more than 20 cores. It's going to run roughly proportionally to like how many graphics cores it has. So yeah, it is worth it in the sense that you're going to be able to play any compatible games faster, but then at the same time, you're going to be spending a lot of money for, and you won't be increasing your compatibility at all. So any of these anti-cheat games or live service games, they won't work necessarily. So yeah, I would definitely think before you spend that money, because it's a lot of money to spend. To go from a Pro to a Max was like $1,000 difference or something. And you can buy a lot of games with that. You can buy a pretty good gaming PC with that. Okay, let's see. WinLoader. So you're hoping that The Witcher 3 gets a native port on Steam. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But who knows? You know, they've got Cyberpunk working, so why not? Like World of Warcraft compiled to their chips, yeah. Oof, this is an old installer. It's got stuff about how long your game's going to download via dial-up. Such a shame that I can't get stuff like FC24 working though. I mean, that's my point, is that why can't the Mac be like the iPhone or the iPad? They have their mobile versions, or can't we have anything else? The issue with FF7 Rebirth is the exe in Steam app's common final. Yeah, obviously, that's where the game is. Let's see if there are any alternate exe files. It's not the main exe. Okay, let's have a look. So let me put my Steam windows here. Let's troubleshoot. So we've got third-party binaries in the engine, but really, so yeah, there are two exe files. This will just point to the other one. So I wonder what would happen if you got Steam to like, if I run the, so what have I got? I've got Steam open. If I run with AVX, sometimes it works. It can work if you manually run the exe. So these are the third-party binaries. End, as in like the end user binaries. Same error message. Yeah, that's exactly the same error message, I think. Legal instruction. Oh, but I'm also not running this through the correct graphics API. Let's turn on D3D Metal. Because it was giving us some Molten VK error messages there, which is weird. Yeah, so we don't have those Molten VK error messages. Illegal instruction at 64-bit code. Rebirth, backtrace. Wine version, Don't think it's going to be solvable. Why? What's this D3D11 log? Why is that D3D11 log? Because I did try to run it through DirectX 11. Why is that a log? Did that get created when I tried to run the game? So checking something. So it says here that this was created half an hour ago. So if I delete this, it has an error message where if I try to run this through DirectX 11 mode, let's try that. Let's try that again. It will create a log. Can this even run through DirectX 11 mode? No. It didn't create a log there. Oh, that's interesting. Content. What's an emov? What's an emov file? Sometimes as well with games is if you remove the movie files. Oh, it's got like an English. What emobs? Where's my VLC when you need it? I remember back in the day, I used to be able to play the movie file directly from like the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9, discs, the PC discs. Yeah, so we can play some of the videos and the skill videos. Let's hear the main one. Let's turn down the sound so I don't get copyright striked in case. Oh, it's interesting. You can play the movie files. I wonder if this will one through rewind though. This is like a recap of the first game. Yeah, it is a recap. Well, it's cool that you can see the actual. Yeah, because I remember like in the first, Oh, this is the weapon. Final Fantasy is the weapon. Yeah, so when I played, like, I remember playing even like the PC releases of the PlayStation era Final Fantasy games. What was cool is that you could view the videos directly from the discs. I used to watch them. It was really cool. This is like the full res copies. I mean, oh no, it's not that big. 156 megabytes. Oh, that's cool. What was really cool is that the old games, right? The old Final Fantasy games used to have um, the little 3D models overlaid over like moving video backgrounds, which was very interesting. The packs of what the textures are. I wonder what happens if I do this. Remove the movie folder and then try to run the game. Same thing. Okay, binaries. So this is the DirectX 12 core, Turbo JPEG, D-Storage. Okay, we'll give up on that. Anyone else has got any bright ideas, then let me know. Okay, let's get DCS World working. Has anyone played Stalker 2 on the M3 Pro? No, but I've heard that it's working better on crossover preview with Game Porting Toolkit 2.0. So you should definitely try that if you can. Can you join the Discord? You should be able to join. As far as I can tell, the invitation hasn't been revoked. So give that a go. Can you show emulation on iOS? On my second channel, I have a lot of iOS emulation videos. They even have like Apple TV emulation for RetroArch as well. Yeah, give it a go. Make sure to try upgrading Stalker 2's crossover to version 2.0 because I think I read somewhere that it's working better. Yeah, it's probably worth having a look, optimizing. Okay, so we're gonna try getting this even more dependencies thrown at this. Good evening, Grind. Welcome to the stream. Brent says, I can confirm that Marvel Rivals working on my M1 Pro with AMD FSR and performance may give me 40 to 45 FPS. It's not too bad. Are you running at 1080p? K6. I downloaded 180 gigs of TCS World yesterday just for it to not work. Holy moly, is that 180 gigabytes? Okay, can't really finish that today then. So I might have to leave this for another day. Andrew, do you play some games on your day-to-day through crossover? I've been stuck with Elden Ring. I think it's one of the next-gen games that work flawlessly. Personally, I don't play that much through crossover, but just because when I'm at home on a day-to-day basis, I'm much more likely to pick up my Steam Deck, which uses like similar technology in terms of like gaming, Proton and Wine being analogs to crossover and D3D Metal. So yeah, it's interesting to see that there are similarities, and I prefer gaming on the Steam Deck just because I can kind of switch off and switch back on again very easily without losing progress. On a Mac, if I've got a Mac on my own, I tend not to game on it that much because I'm trying to do some work instead. I'm trying to work. I'm not trying to like do loads of kill my time gaming because that would be a waste of time. And I think one of the things that is an advantage to Mac gaming is the fact that it's not a dedicated gaming device. Is the fact that for me anyway, for majority of people, the Mac is a work machine. It's not meant to be it's not for fun. It's meant to be for you to work on. And I think there's a large portion of people who would say that basically gaming on the Mac is a last resort. It's the thing that you're stuck with. You took it on a business trip, you got a couple of hours to kill, you don't want to work. Let's play a game instead, okay? And obviously, like the ideal, right? The golden ideal is to have a native game that just works. You just download it through the App Store or an independent launcher or through Steam, and it's easy to like close the lid of my Mac and then switch it back on again. It'll just work. And if they're optimized correctly, it won't really drain the battery very much. And yeah, that's kind of like the ideal experience. However, when you're running games through Game Porting Toolkit and crossover and stuff, often if you try and close the lid and like suspend the game, it will kind of crash. Like Cyberpunk 2077 crashes, which is really cool that the new version, the new native version, which I'm sure is going to come out soon, won't do that. So I think, well, I hope it won't do that. If it's kind of plug and play, like it is on the Steam Deck, for example, then that's like a big advantage. I'd definitely be up for looking at that. Yeah, so you're running games like and also I think what Mac Game is good for is that, especially crossover, is that you've got a gaming PC and you've made some progress in a game like Elden Ring, and you take it with you, and let's say you go somewhere, you go to your families for Christmas, and you just want to play another half an hour. You don't really mind the compromises because there are substantial compromises for Elden Ring, even though it feels native. It's not really native. Like you can't play it online properly as well, which you might not care about if you're traveling. But yeah, it's nice to be able to like dip into the same game again and then not have to without having to like drag your whole gaming device with you. Because for me, like I carry my MacBook like everywhere with me, take it everywhere. Whereas I wouldn't necessarily take my Steam Deck. It just seems like an unnecessary thing to encumber yourself with. Absolutely, I use it to produce music for my live performances when I'm traveling. Great to be able to run CS2 and Rivals now. Yeah, I think Counter-Strike 2. I've been testing it quite a lot. I don't really rate it much on there. Marvel Rivals works really well. I think Marvel Rivals is great. It feels native-like. Counter-Strike 2, much less so. Much more hardcore as well. I think Marvel Rivals is a much more forgiving kind of team-based game, whereas Counter-Strike 2 is way more punishing for poor performance. CST runs poorly with gamepad. Yeah, you don't want to be playing Counter-Strike 2 with a gamepad. If you're on my team and you're using a gamepad, I'd be really annoyed. Whereas on Marvel Rivals, the game is much more forgiving, so you don't really care that much about a lot of the games work fine because they have like a bit of auto aim, a bit of forgiveness in the way it works. I also don't just game a lot, so when I do game, having the ability on my Mac is a great option for me versus dedicated PC I'd rarely use. Okay, good. Okay, so now that DCS World, I've installed the kitchen sink, and then we're going to install DCS World through this. So actually, it's saying here to override some library files first, so I might do that first. Okay, so enable D3D Metal, and then enable eSync. Change the bottle to Windows 10. Where's my wine window gone? Can't seem to load up my wine window. It's saying here I need to change some wine settings. I just need to wait for that to come up. CST runs poorly with gamepad, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I work a remote job, and it's kind of amazing I can go to cafes, get some work done with my laptop, and then play Elden Ring right there with my controller and a slim machine. That's one of the big advantages, I think. Also, I think that Windows laptops are like terrible at like power management. So if you try to run a game in without your power lead, right? Most gaming laptops just don't have enough wattage to be able to power a game. Whereas on a Mac, if you take the MagSafe connector on and off, it doesn't affect your frame rate at all when you're playing a game like Death Stranding. Just nothing happens. Why this wine configuration window coming up? Because this should come up. So I need to download the kitchen sink, override WinHTTP. So I can't override anything without that coming up. Let me just quit that again into it. I might give up on DCS World because if it truly is 180 gig, is it seriously 187 gigabytes? Is it seriously 180 gigabytes? Because that's going to take me over an hour to download. Holy moly, 200 gigabytes of space, recommended 500 gigs. Oh God, I don't have space for that. Okay, I won't do that at the moment. But one thing that I will do, I think for now, is shut down that. What I'll do is I'll confirm that, I wanted to confirm that Battle.net is working. So this is a standard crossover. So this is the latest version, 24.0.6. And I wanted to install Battle.net into this. So let's just Battle.net. Let's reinstall this. And then, because some people were complaining that this wasn't working. So just want to make sure that it does work. Okay. Nice points you got there. It's not the same gaming experience as I say. I missed the multiplayer, but it's amazing that one computer can run through all your needs. Yeah, depends what your needs are, because like there's a lot of people who say, oh, well, mechs can't play all the games, right? But really, how many games can you actually play? You know, I'm getting into my middle age now, and the number of games that I've finished in the last year is like minimal. Like I played The Expanse, the Telltale adventure game. I played a lot of Balatro, which is like a card roguelike game. Played a bit of Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm afraid I haven't made much progress on at all. I really want to finish Final Fantasy 7 Remake, the Intergrade. I haven't got there at all. And yeah, it's just a shame that there are too many games. So if you said to me, "Oh, I can't play Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade," sorry, no, I can't play Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I think it's not that big a deal because I haven't even finished the first game, and that came out like 4 years ago. So it's not something. It's not like something I'm more of a like patient gamer. So I don't really mind. I don't really mind games. I don't really mind like this idea that the Mac cannot play every game is not a big deal to me because firstly, I don't really like live service games. I don't like multiplayer games that much, and secondly, I have too many single player games to play. Even a game like Ghost of Tsushima, I've want to finish. I haven't had enough time to do it. And also, you've got your Mac in front of you. You think, I can do some work, make some money, or should I waste my time playing a game? Hard to say. When I get older and older, I find harder to justify time gaming, especially because I've played like 10 hours of Ghost of Tsushima. It's really good. I've played like 15 hours of Final Fantasy 7 Remake. It's getting boring, right? Sometimes you just need to stop playing a game. I don't mind just trying something different with my life. I don't need I don't need to finish it, if you know what I mean. Right. Okay, let's see what's happened here. Okay, let's do this and this. And let's load up Battlefront again. Let's see here. Just trying to catch up with my chat at the moment. Core audio on Mac is the most stable compared to ASIO on Windows, so I keep my Windows PC at home for intense gaming, Valorant, etc., and then MBP for light stuff. Yeah, while on transit. That's exactly kind of what I do. And then I also went through a period of playing Baldur's Gate 3 through on the Mac as well, because it works well most of the time. Yeah. Do I also cover whiskey content? I do not. I have a whole whiskey versus crossover video on my channel, which you can check out. But I'm afraid I don't really do much on this, on whiskey. Also, I can't really stream on whiskey because it's using whiskey wine, which doesn't let me do what I like to do, which is to like capture video on the laptop screen, and also have the HDMI so you can see it a bit more clearly on screen, like right now. Let me just authenticate. So yeah. Tokyo Extreme Racer on Steam can be played natively. Not natively. I'm not sure about that game. Look it up on the Apple Gaming Wiki. JFK Productions says DPT2 seems like a hassle to install. You mean the full release? Yeah, it is. It's not really a big hassle. It literally takes you about 60 seconds to do. It's not really the big deal. Okay, let's try. So I just want to confirm that Diablo 4 is working. So some people are saying that they couldn't get into certain games. They couldn't patch the games properly. But 24.0.6 should patch correctly. And I just want to prove that it works now. So 346 megabytes, let's do it. Balatro is awesome. It is really awesome. I am doing really well. I'll show you while I'm here. I'll show you my Balatro stakes. So, you know what? This is a good opportunity for me to mirror my phone because I've never actually done this before. Shockingly, can I mirror iPhone? Let's turn on my Wi-Fi. How do you mirror? Your iPhone to your Mac. Set up iPhone mirror, make sure your phone is near on. Yeah, it is on. Let me just try this out. I've never actually done this before, so. Okay, put my phone near my Mac. Yeah. Come on, dude. Can we get there? It's still on the same iCloud account. So, as key, so FF7 Rebirth just does not support DirectX 11 at all, which is unfortunate. That is unfortunate, especially because the last game, especially because it probably does support support on DirectX 11. It just got disabled. Oof, why is this trying to download 128 gigabytes? I already downloaded a bunch of this already. Okay, let's do a small game. Diablo 2 Resurrected. Let's make sure that this is working. Only things I finished last year were Witcher 3 and God of War. Did you play that on the Steam Deck or something like that? Gosh, shouldn't take this long to this. I shouldn't be downloading 30 gigabytes. Let me just tweak the download speed because I don't want it to kill my stream too much. It's 30,000 kilobytes is 30 megabits per second, or is that less? I just don't want it to kill the stream too badly. Okay, good. So yeah, it runs on DirectX 12 Ultimate. Okay, that's unfortunate. While that's downloading, let's do a little bit of investigation. FF7 Rebirth, DirectX 12 Ultimate. I'll put this here so we can see what we're doing. So, it's interesting. So you can't play it. I'm playing through Remake right now and it stutters in some cities. If you're using, I didn't realize there was a difference between DirectX 12 Ultimate and DirectX 12. The answer is that you'll not be able to play at all. Could be wrong. You could always get a refund. What GPU, CPU do you have? NVIDIA, GeForce, Rebirth is so much more demanding than Remake. If your system struggles with Remake, you are probably SOL. I had to Google to see what DirectX 12 Ultimate is a thing. You should be able to download and install it. If it's required for Rebirth, it may be installed together with the game. DX12 Ultimate is not supported on hardware older than 20 series GPUs. You can download it on unsupported GPUs, just like back in the day. You can download DirectX 11 on GPU that didn't support anything above DirectX 10. It's clearly stated DirectX 12U I wonder if there's any other games which run on DirectX 12 Ultimate. What are they? Games. Is there such a list? Is there such a list that exists on PC Gaming Wiki? Because, God, I didn't even realize that there was a difference between Ultimate. There's no word about Ultimate here. There needs to be a new thread on this. We don't have a list of games that support DirectX 12 Ultimate. Mesh shaders, etc. It's like hardcore stuff. DirectX 12. What games are there? DirectX 12 Ultimate games list. Confirmed DirectX 12 games. Is Far Cry 6 DirectX 12 Ultimate? That's a surprise to me. It requires the DirectX 12 full feature set. Well, the thing is that DirectX 12 is runnable. Far Cry 6 does work through crossover, so it's not that in itself which is the thing which is causing issues necessarily. Let's look at this performance thread. So the performance thread shows we need, let me see, minimum recommended ultimates. So you need an RTX 2060 onwards. So not 2050. Did 2050 exist? 2050 or an AMD like an RX 6600. You want Intel i3 8100 as a minimum. So that's 8th gen CPU. We're on like 14th, 15th gen, right? So that's 7 years old, basically. So we need a beefy, fresh computer, basically, in order to get this to run. Okay. Bro, why is gaming on a Mac so difficult? You're the only dude that gives us Mac gamers hope. I think it's because there's no real corporate sponsor of Mac gaming. It could have been Apple. It could be Apple doing it, but they're not interested in, like, for multiple corporate strategy reasons, they're not interested in actually getting real games to work on a Mac beyond like a token few, right? And there's like a strategic reason for this, because far more people buy Macs for work than they do for games. I mean, it could be that games negatively impact the branding of Macs. Yeah, RTX is required. No, it's not required, but it's the ability to play with RTX. I don't know. Probably because your graphics card isn't supporting mesh shaders. Okay. You know, I really thought that maybe Rebirth would be similar to because is Rebirth coming out? Does Rebirth come out for the PS4? No. I know Rebirth. Yeah, they just upgraded everything. That's why. Hello, I watched your Mac Gaming Bench video for a few months to see how GPTK 2.0 improved compatibility, and unfortunately, I saw a sale on M3 Max for 40 for €2,500. Now I can test it. Well, I think that's the same M3 Max MacBook Pro that I'm using right now. So it's a great machine. I mean, the fact is that the M3 Max is great. It's only like a year. I only bought mine about a year and about 13 months ago. So it's still very powerful of a computer. So I haven't had particular issues with it. Can M series compatible with external GPUs? They're not compatible with the external GPUs at the moment. I don't think it'll ever happen because Well, Apple's certainly not interested in supporting external graphics cards. I don't think anyone's really seriously cares about external graphics cards because, the future Mac Studio is going to have, 50 or 60 GPU cores. So that's like plenty. If you need like performance for like machine learning or for games, then and you want as much graphical power as possible, you just buy it internally. So yeah, you don't need it. I think that the era of graphics of external GPUs is over, and I don't think there's going to be substantial support in any way at all on getting that to work. Yeah, why is my iPhone mirroring not working? I've never actually tried this before, so I've got Wi-Fi enabled. Must do. With iPhone mirroring, right, you just put your phone near your Mac and it should... I'm in the same iCloud account as well, so it should be... I'm going to try it again with... does not like it. Okay, so yeah, only the 2019 and below Mac can support external GPUs. Oh, I see, thanks. Yeah, I played Marvel Rivals on my M3 Max and was getting 40 to 90 FPS at 240 FPS spikes. I believe this game would run on smooth 120 if optimized. It's an Unreal Engine game. They listed it as having macOS support on the page. I remember Marvel Rivals Wikipedia. They were saying that it was going to come out on macOS, but that was like in the past. It's not. It's been removed from the platforms list, which is annoying. But yeah, if it had native support, it would be really good. But it actually runs really well through crossover previews, so I'm impressed. Is there a way to have Steam overlay on D3D Metal? Yes. If you run... Most of the games that run through crossover can run the Steam overlay as well, so that should work fine. Not every game loads up the overlay correctly, though, so just be aware of that. Boot Camp was amazing. I remember hooking up my 3090 to my i9 MacBook Pro and playing Overwatch at 240 hertz till my CPU had a heat stroke and dipped into 90 FPS. Yeah. The thing is, right, that if you've got like a 3090, it doesn't cost that much to buy a full PC that will take enough advantage of your graphics card. Like these GPU enclosures, they're kind of a waste of money just because you can't really use them anything else apart from you need like a Thunderbolt compatible device to do it. And a lot of these eGPUs, right, they can't render the game on the laptop screen, so you've got to like feed it to an external screen. It kind of takes the point out of doing it. It makes it not very portable. So if it's not portable, then kind of what's the point? That's the way that I think about it. Okay, while I'm here, I think what I'll try to do as well, try an airdrop and then a mirror. Okay, let's try that. Let's try mirroring something. Let's try. Airdrop is working. Okay, that did work. So why won't this work? My phone is updated. Okay. Andrew, for the love of God, please crack the code on Madden 25 and FC25. Your sub count would go nuts. EA games won't allow it in crossover. Yeah, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for the super chat, Rage Against My Machine. If I had the technical skills to allow these games to run on a Mac, then I'm not sure that I would be doing this. The thing is, like, the whole point of anti-cheat is to like detect whether a game is being run in its like quote unquote correct environment. So let's say I could get it to run, I'd still be like bypassing the policies of Electronic Arts, and then I'd be responsible for basically destroy getting a load of people banned for trying to run a game which they were like warned not to be able to run. So I'm not sure I'm going to go too deep into that. But thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Okay, yeah. Here's a donation before Apple shuts you down, LMAO. Thanks very much, dude. Really appreciate it. I don't think Apple are going to shut me down. I mean, I'm trying to. Mr. McWright was very kind enough to put me in touch with the Apple PR team, and I did like try to. I'm trying to get them to like send me some hardware and stuff, but they haven't replied to my emails since like a few days ago now. So since like Monday. So that's a shame. I'll try and follow it up. But I don't think I'm in any danger of Apple shutting me down. Like, what does that even mean, Apple shutting me down? How to make crossover log on terminal. Basically, what you do is you can go to Steam and then you can go to the bottle and you run with options and then click here, create a log file, and it'll make a log. I might try that now. See, if I make a log file and then see what happens, then we'll see. There's a way to bypass EA's anti-cheat. I was doing it while I was on Windows, but can't play it online with it though. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Can't bypass the anti-cheat, then there's not much we can do about it, is there? Bypass anti-cheat. I was doing it while I was on Windows. If we could play single-player games or play local multiplayer, that would be really cool. How do you bypass the EA's anti-cheat? Bypass EA anti-cheat. How do you do that? Does this still work? It's basically using an older version of the game. Okay, so I've loaded up I loaded up Steam, and if I try to press so I'm on crossover regular, and then I've got D3D Metal turned on. So if I try to run the game, it'll give me that error message. Then I'll press stop. Then I'll that log should end once I close this. Then I go to library. Go to library and then crossover. No, this is sorry, library and then application support and then crossover. And then I should have logs somewhere. Where are my logs? Wait a sec, because the log, it goes in library logs crossover. Okay, wrong place. Library logs crossover, and then Steam C-log with text edit. So this is what I did. Windows 10, enabled blah, blah, blah. Then this is the back trace. So this is like what's going wrong with the game. So type in Rebirth. Yeah. So this is the trace for Rebirth. Trying to get this game running. Let's go back. So we've got 296 mentions of Rebirth. Let's just go through them quickly. See what we've got. So yeah, I try to run this with DirectX 11 flag. That's the. Oh, was I still trying to run it through DirectX 11? Oh, it was. Okay, let's try. But yeah, basically, maybe it's all going to be that error message. Game process added. I'm sure the wine guys at Co-Weavers are pouring through this crap right now. And W11. What's W11? If we change this to Windows 11, is it going to do anything? Yeah, okay, let's make a log file. Let's have a look. W11 is a Formula One car. It's also a name of a popular operating system, as far as I'm concerned. Whiskey doesn't have crossover preview, yeah. Whiskey's kind of stuck in time now. It's no longer really updated properly. Can't see it. I have Steam open, right? Let me just quit out of Steam and then come back out. Oh no, I just press quit just when it comes up. Rage Against My Machine. You think Boot Camp for Maxilla can ever become a reality? I don't think it's ever going to become a reality because Microsoft has already endorsed Parallels as the method of running Windows on a Mac. And then there's also this thing as well, which hasn't made much progress. So this is a project, Apple WA, so Windows on ARM. There's a project here to host all repositories that deal with Apple WOA. There isn't much progress on this. So some of the stuff is like forked to one from Asahi Linux. There's one guy working on it, Arminder Singh. Okay, wait a sec. Let's just get the log file working for this. So I'll change it to a Windows 11 bottle. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. Nah, that's not doing anything. Okay. Instead of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, let's also try another game, which is Eternal Strands. That's it. Somebody got this working. It'd be quite interesting to see this playing. It's like a prologue demo, so I might try that while we are messing around a bit. Yeah, Apple WOA. So this is like, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, there's not really much to this, okay? Because the fact is that the project itself is very much a vapor, I remember seeing This guy announced it a few years ago. If you look at like the repos, there's not that much kind of work being done on that. So this guy's his last commit was 3 months ago. So it's not like it's being worked on a lot. If I could show it WOA. Yeah, I already tried Rebirth on DirectX 11. Yeah, so this is the app. Sorry. This is the Apple WOA. So this is pretty much the closest we're ever going to get to Boot Camp, Windows Boot Camp on a Mac. And there's, in terms of progress, May 2024, very good news. The PCIe UEFI DXE driver is on track to be finished tomorrow, testing, So yeah. Commits. The last commit was in October 2024. Some driver stuff, some of my branding stuff. We have screenshots, so some Mac running some code. Windows failed to start. Okay, so someone's going for it, okay? But in terms of like the future of Windows gaming on a Mac, I don't think it's going to be here. We're much more likely, I think, in reality, I think something like Asahi Linux is going to be way more performant than this. So like, let me see Asahi Linux. What kind of any big changes lately? Yeah, the last big thing was this, which I haven't covered. This was December last year. Visual stuff. As you might remember, let me just put this in Safari because I've got an extension here which prevents you from actually maximizing this. Hi everyone. I should really look at this a bit more. Native graphics in VM. DRM native context. Instead of running the entire GPU stack in the guest and passing through the whole hardware GPU, or in the why not split it down the middle? Okay. So it's just another way to add graphics rendering. Windows system attacks. Oh, while I'm doing that, let's just make sure this is downloading. It is downloading. Okay, good. This stuff is like the stuff they're doing on Asahi Linux is like crazy. It's crazy just how much intelligence is being like directed towards this project. Like this whole write-up by is this by Alyssa? Is this written by Alyssa? Asahi Lina wrote this. Asahi Lina is doing a lot of the graphics work. It's just crazy, like what is involved. So let me just see. Sommelier is the solution to a lot of the windowing problems. Too much on the little. Deeper. Top of that Sommelier student C. It's shipped with Sommelier and X-Way London. Okay, so they're scrapping Sommelier and okay, they've got a different method. Chaos Princess. Okay, someone called Chaos Princess has made a lot of progress with X11. A thin proxy for the X11 protocol, which uses cross-domain channel to forward directly to the host X server, blah, blah, blah. Futex. Okay, so there's a lot of like complicated shit happening here. So, okay, move VM reload. If you update your Fedora Asahi Linux for today, you get these improvements. Okay, so you get DirectX 11 pass-through through the micro VM X11 bridge. Steam and other Windows apps now work correctly. You can now use CJK input methods. That's CJK, is that Chinese, Japanese, Korean? Okay. Guest memory is now better managed. 8 GB machines. Da da da. Wow, this seems like a big deal. I haven't covered this. It's been 6 weeks since this was released. Okay. People in the Sci Linux team advise eGPU is not feasible with M1 and M2. Still too early for any statement from M3 or 4. Okay, X key. Hopefully, FF7 Rebirth gets a patch or something, figures out a fix. Good night. Thank you very much for joining this stream. Thank you for the suggestions. Sorry that we didn't get any further with this. eGPU will never work with silicon. I don't think it will ever feasibly work with Apple Silicon. So I think that's right. Okay, let's try running this demo, and then I think I might call it a day. So this looks like an Unreal Engine game. So this is something called Eternal Strands. I saw someone playing this on the Mac Gaming subreddits. Let's just see. And then, unfortunately, we're not able to get very far with this game. Let me see if anyone's made any progress on the Mac Gaming subreddit. I think if someone does, then I'm gonna have to make another stream on it soon. Okay. Thank you so much for your PCSX2 tutorials on Mac. I really had a passion in reliving my primary school years back then. That's what emulation is about, isn't it? It's about playing the old systems and all the games that you couldn't play, or playing all the games in a form that is like new and exciting, and really, in a widescreen. I really like playing old PS2 games in widescreen. I think it's really funny, just to hack widescreen compatibility into games, and then play it in a way that it was kind of never intended to. I mean, some games did support widescreen. I'll be right back. My son's just come home. Okay, great. So let me see where we are. So I'm just gonna, let me see, pair up where's my DualSense controller? Let's just pair this up. Okay, power up my DualSense. Okay, good. Thank you, Andrew. When do you think the new toolkit will be updated into Crossover without doing it manually? I think that it's really soon. Like, it's going to be really, really soon that crossover 25 is literally around the corner. So last year, crossover 24 came out in February. Okay, I'm back. I'm just going to make sure my controller's working. Let me see. DualSense controller. So sometimes if a game doesn't pick up controller support, you can go here and just double check that we have. Yeah, so I've got this working. So if a game supports controller, then it should get picked up here. Yeah, so basically crossover 25 is just around the corner. So we're talking February was when crossover 24 came out. That was kind of early in the year, to be honest, right? It should have been like a bit later. But yeah, we're expecting a yearly release. So I say February. I think that Game Porting Toolkit 2 and D3D Metal are going to be integrated into the game. Let's try this, medium. So I don't know much about this game, but I'll just give this a little test and then I think I'll call it a day in terms of gaming. Sorry to disappoint everyone. Yeah. You know, it's a shame that you know, Final Fantasy 7. It's basically a an Unreal Engine 4 game. It should really just work. It works on the Steam Deck. Yeah, I'm just checking the Discord server as well. So FromSoft Gang's also saying that the Rebirth can't get it to work either with crossover stable or crossover preview. That's a shame.
Not all weavers claimed it as their home, but those that did built a legacy of progress, constructs.
Yeah, there's no DirectX 11 support, which is a shame.
The likes of which have not been seen since the Surge, almost half a century ago, when a
I think that there was an issue with that cinematic, so it should have been more visible. This is looking very like World of Warcraft like. Reminds me of like the Netherstorm.
What do you think?
When you told me that
No one's been this weavers. You have no idea what I had to do to puzzle out this passage.
I definitely want to hear
My hope. I'll
really
the map.
that's my
Yes,
and if for sure
I'll just any.
no questions from
Blab.
It's looking very well. Like, so this game is called Eternal Strands. I haven't heard much about it, to be honest. Just except for the fact that this can play on a Mac. Unfortunately, it's not Final Fantasy.
some interference though.
Must be the tangles. Still, strong enough to pull you out like you practiced. Dom.
I'm on it.
I want to play some Final Fantasy 7 Remake actually. If I'm going to be here at all, because I think that's probably.
Thanks. Got visuals back.
Veil Shadow is
Quite worthwhile doing.
incredible.
Let's check some boxes.
Anything like it.
It's got that kind of mobile game climbing in this game.
Frozen.
We should expect enchantments to act strangely this close to the veil.
See those glowing bulbs? Infernal alliums. They combust when broken.
So if I toss one at the wall, it's
Should I get the M1 Max 32 or M4 Pro 20? It really depends on your needs. The M1 Max, I think it will be faster, right? to be honest, right, the M1 Max is like more than enough system for the majority of people. In terms of gaming, what are your thoughts? The thing is, right, that the thing about gaming, I'm going to focus on this for a bit. The thing about gaming on a Mac is that you shouldn't really be gaming on a Mac, right? The M4 Pro is going to play games really well, right? Probably better than the M4 Pro. I want to quit out this because this game is quite boring. If I look at my old video from back in the day, I have a comparison. I have like a comparison video where I compare. Let me see. M4 Mac comparison. So I've got like a chart which basically shows the relative speeds of different. Today we're going to be talking. Let me just pause this. Mute this. The various systems, and basically, if we look at the. Okay, I didn't have an M1 Max in here, but we do have like. What you're looking at is M4 Pro, right? M4 Pro 20 GPU cores, which is this one here, right? And I don't have an M1 Max for comparison here. M1 Pro, it should be like double the M1 Pro. They're going to perform very similarly in terms of like raw speed, right? For certain games. So this blue one is I think that was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, M4's got ray tracing, but it's ray tracing is a useless feature. You never want to turn it on because like gaming on a Mac is such a big kind of compromise, right? You don't really want to turn on ray tracing. There's not a single game with ray tracing that works well at the moment. The exception might be with something like Cyberpunk 2077 when it comes out on Mac in as a native game in the future. But like right now, there's just basically no reason to do it. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is like cap out the evening with a little bit of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which I haven't finished. So it's probably kind of good to actually make a little bit of progress and like play it properly. And that's one of the beauties of my gaming is that I can make progress on an older game. Let's just get my game running. I play Elden Ring with ray tracing on the base M4 Mini. Is it worth it though? Is it better? Because surely it'd be better just to have the frames. Like, wouldn't you just rather have the frame rate than the game itself? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth to work, I'm afraid. So sorry about that. Didn't make much progress, I'm afraid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of Remake Integrate. Let's run this with DX11. I haven't seen a recent M1 Max video to compare to. No difference in looks nor in FPS. Then, you know, if there's no difference in looks or FPS, then, you know, what's the point? What's the point of turning on ray tracing? Okay, just gonna load up some. If HDMI 2.1 is important to you, M4 Pro. M1 offers 2.0. Yes. I mean, to be honest, right, I will just wait for an M5 generation. Did you disable MMX thing? What's the MMX thing? What's MMX? isn't that like a CPU thing? Oh, I got an AI summary. Yeah, so HDMI 2.1 is going to give you like better compatibility with high refresh rates and on external screens. Well, I don't really think that's relevant for most people, I'll be honest with you. Get my... Yeah, what does disabling MMX do? Because I'm struggling to see what that might achieve. So I think the game could run on Parallels. It definitely can run on Parallels because DirectX 12 Ultimate is required, and Parallels doesn't support DirectX 12. I'm afraid. I just don't think that's happening anytime soon. As far as I can tell, Parallels is not particularly interested in trying to get more gaming supported. They support DirectX 11, but that's about it. I don't see any evidence that DirectX 12 is going to get supported. I mean, MSync, can you disable MSync and enable Metal? Yeah, I did that already, yeah. I tried it. I've tried running the game with eSync, MSync, D3D Metal, DXVK, and also WineD3D, and none of those work. So I think we are looking at some kind of... I don't actually think it's a graphics API issue with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's something else. And this kind of goes to show, like, the Final Fantasy 16 didn't work, and you can play Final Fantasy Ever Crisis through crossover, and you can play Rebirth. Let me just see. Let's update this. And what does the log say? The log says, I'll show you the log. The log says no, basically. The log, the backtrace, which I'll go through this, I went through this in the stream already. Basically, the main issue is here. Illegal instruction in 64-bit code. So that's the log that we've got. So I reckon somebody clever from Codeweavers, if they can figure this out, I think that there's a really high demand for this game in particular. You know. Let me just get this updated. Did you set up a new wine prefix yet? I did. I set up my Steam bottles from scratch today, right? So I was trying it out, and then I did it from scratch. So no funny GPTK 2.0 stuff, no funny business. It's a shame because Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate manages to work so well. So if you think about it, right, then the names of these games are all backwards. So this one is called Remake Integrate. Integrate implies the middle of the series. The first game should be called Rebirth, right? Second game should be called Integrate, and the third game should be called like Revival or something. Revive or something like that. Has anyone tried Assetto Corsa Evo? I did try that actually. Let me try this again because it said my Steam Cloud was out of date. Yeah, it's a real shame. Does the game start with DLSS open? Maybe that's the issue. You know what? That's a good idea to look at because if I think about it right, the stuff should be here in Rebirth, the settings. I don't think it's the settings that are the issue though. Okay, that's the Steam Auto Cloud. Let's look it up again. It's FF7 Rebirth, PC Delver. Where's the files? Where the save games are located? Save games are folder. So I don't have any save games yet, but where's the config files? Documents, my games, saved config. There are no configs. So here it is empty at the moment. So right now this is empty. So we have the save game location here, but we don't have the saved folder not been created yet. I don't think games load with DLSS by default. I don't think that actually happens. I'd be really surprised if DLSS was enabled. I'd have to install it on my Steam Deck. Because that would crash it. That would crash the beginning. But it doesn't even like open up. So I feel like it's a wine issue. Let me just check this. I don't know how true this is, but it says it launches with DLSS. No one really knows though, so you can't really make this assumption. So look at the results within the last 24 hours, that might help. No FSR. I have to admit, I enjoy your live streams. Well, I'm glad that you do enjoy it because I didn't manage to do anything in this game at all. Like anything at all. Like I didn't make any progress getting anything done. But it's interesting to take some of these ideas from the community and try to like workshop them, you know? Because like without much help, there's not much I can do. I wonder what Vladimir Prog has to say about this. Because he's like a big... I might message him direct. I'm messaging him now, FS. I've just sent him I sent him a message. And yeah. I haven't tried FN Mac Assistant, to be honest. Although maybe it's worth doing. Have you tried it out? Some people have said it's quite good. Getting a little bit of a game fail today. Let's see. If you like watching a man struggle with getting games to run, this is the right way to play it. Well, it's good. Locked at 110 FPS, but it's mobile graphics and play keyboard and mouse. You have to remap keys through Carabiner. That's annoying. But you use a controller, right? And PlayCover supports key mapping, right? What's the community like? So you can play 4 guys through this. The official Fortnite Mac. I'll do this later. Joining their server. Wow, this has been updated recently. That's today. So, David, right? Do you sideload using sideloadly, or do you using PlayCover to play Fortnite? Okay. So the instructions for this seem pretty straightforward. So just download and install the new IPA, open the Fortnite app. It doesn't say anything about using sideloadly. Does this mean that you can just open the IPA directly? I might experiment with this a bit later. Did you manage to port full AC Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage 6 months later? Unfortunately, no, because I think I did find a method to get it working. To be honest, I did find a method, but it's basically piracy because it requires the same method for unlocking a game also unlocks the requirement to buy the game at all. I have found a method to actually get the full version of Assassin's Creed Mirage working, but it's basically a crack. So for various obvious reasons, I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to make a little poll here. Should I play FF7 Remake or should I run Fortnite? I did do Rosetta Advertise AVX1, tried that already. Yeah, did that on the bottle. So I've opened up a vote on what to do next. So let me know in the chat if you're looking at chat. So download the IPA. Okay, let's see what the poll says. So slightly more people are saying I should be playing Fortnite. Okay, so I have to sideload the game. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now. And yeah, we have slightly more people want me to do Fortnite. Let's give this a go. Let's experiment with this. Okay, I'll do Final Fantasy VII Remake later. Okay, so I've downloaded the IPA. So where did the IPA go? Ah, the IPA is here. Oh, it's quite small. Can you cross-port over to iOS by any chance? Well, you can just go buy the iOS version of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Okay, so now I need sideloadly. I haven't used sideloadly for a really long time. So you open up sideloadly. The sideloadly open. Okay, so this is my Mac. So you can use your Apple ID, or if you've got a burner account, which you can use. But you can use your normal Apple ID. Sideload is pretty reputable at this stage. I wouldn't worry too much about this. It does it. Well, they say that it's not, these Apple ID details are not passed over to any third parties. So yeah, we need to drag the IPA file over. Let's just try my real Apple ID. Okay, is that it? So I should have Fortnite inside my, yeah, I've got it there. And then in the GitHub, it's saying that I need to patch it, right? Open the Fortnite app. So it's made a Fortnite 1 app. Okay, so just to go to security privacy. Yeah, it's not asked for this. Okay, so I've opened it once. Operation not permitted. Oh, FNMAX system was. I need to allow it. I need to go to sideload again. I need to go to FNMAC Assistant again, which is, oh, it opened up automatically. Patched. Okay, good. So I can now open Fortnite. Okay. Just turning on my controller. How do I control this without a controller? If I just quit out of Fortnite. Got my controller turned on now. Have I tried Hex Editor? I don't really know what to look for in Hex Editor. With an AVX check, it's pretty obvious what it is. There's a dialogue option, like a menu option, which basically states what you need to do. But here it's not obvious what I need to be looking for. I think I'll just let someone more intelligent have a look at it. I've sicked Vladimir Prog of Mac Gaming Patches. Oh yeah, guys, I'm going to plug his YouTube channel again. So downloading very slowly. So we need like 14 gigabytes of data here. Have I tried Batman Arkham Knight? It doesn't work very well on a Mac. I also tried it on Asahi Linux too. Not a good result. So I can see this download progress in the top left here. It's copied some data over. Yeah, so if you're interested in like Mac gaming patches, just make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. So this guy here is trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm sure we'll get there soon. And recently he released the Thor Ragnarok F16C patch, and you know I've told him he should be working on the Rebirth, and he should definitely do it. My specs here are my spec on this computer is this is the M3 Max chip with what have I got? I've completely forgotten what I've got. 48 gigabytes of RAM, 40 GPU cores, I think. Yeah, 40 GPU cores. So it's a really fast Mac. Could I do a dedicated video on it? On what exactly, Alex OG? What do you want to do a dedicated video on? Do crossover games run anti-cheat? No, they don't. I've done Marvel Rivals a lot of times before, so I did it in the last stream, and if you check out my last video, I did Marvel Rivals already, so you know that's kind of covered. So it's normal for this to take a long time, so I guess we'll just be waiting. Oh, thank you very much, Stella, for somebody user called Stella sent in a fix for login. Okay, thank you very much, Stella. I'll add it to my list of things I need to do. I've done Marvel Rivals. I've done. Isn't Arkham Origins something that I covered years ago? Batman. I feel like I ran this on Parallels. Yeah, I did it on Parallels. 32-bit games work best on Parallels, so this you can play this on a Mac using Parallels. It's an older game, but it checks out. Works surprisingly well. I've tried Gotham Knights and it works. Do people actually want to play that game? 2022 action game. Let's limit the bandwidth. Okay, guys, I don't think I'm going to be waiting this long to download Fortnite today. I think we're going to end the stream now. But I'm very grateful for everyone who donated and then everyone who stuck around for this whole thing. I think that ultimately it's the job of, I think, much more people who are much more intelligent than me to actually try to get this game working. So hopefully we're going to get a result very soon. I'm going to make a video about running Fortnite on a Mac in the very near future. But anyway, thank you for watching the stream. Really appreciate it. Once I do get Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth working on a Mac, which I'm sure is going to happen sometime in the future, I will definitely make a video about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Good night.